Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to part 2 of our videos looking at the upcoming Atlantic City Part 2 America's Playground update for Fallout 76. So yesterday we took a look at the upcoming changes to the scoreboard and seasons system, so if you want to check that one out, I'll link that video for you. But today we're going to take a look at the more gameplay-oriented changes, specifically new areas and new quests that will be coming with the update at the end of March. So, as I say, this update is a continuation of the Atlantic City updates that began back before Christmas. In that first part, we got a couple of new areas, a couple of new expeditions, and that is expanding out to be more conventional style gameplay now, as well as exploration and additional expedition as well. So, first up, we have one new area being added with this second part of the update, and that is the Flooded City Centre downtown in Atlantic City. So this is the stronghold of the Munis, the municipal government, whereas the boardwalk that we had last time was the stronghold of the showman, and the casino quarter was home to the family, the mobster sort of group. This one, as I say, is the Munis area. And it's the central area, it's kind of flooded, it looks pretty cool, looks like it'd be interesting to explore. Seems to be a decent amount of sort of elevation going on to it, a lot of verticality, which is quite cool, something that was also true of the casino quarter as well. Less so the boardwalk, but that does kind of make sense. But yeah, quite a cool looking area. We're also going to meet some returning characters in the form of, say, Buttercup, who is coming back, and we'll have a little bit more involvement. We also have some new characters like the head of the Munis, Mayor Tim, and a few others besides, who will be dishing out quests and recruiting our help, which should be good fun. So looking at those quests, we have the two kind of categories of them. We have a large chunk of main quest type content that's coming, and we also have a couple of smaller sort of side quest type additions as well. So looking at those side quest type things, they seem to be oriented around each of the three major zones in Atlantic City, and also with a bit of transition over to main Appalachia as well. So we've got Saltwater Sam is a suspicious fellow who seems to be helping out the showman, who'll probably be over in the boardwalk somewhere. We have a private eye type of quest line asking us to investigate the family and find out what's happened to their missing patriarch, Quintino. And we have another quest that is asking us to find a missing journalist who has headed over to Appalachia to investigate the Blood Eagles. So 3 quest lines there, each with their own kind of style and thing to them. Apparently there's quite a lot of interviewing going on in the whole investigating the missing journalist kind of thing. Apparently we'll have to persuade the Blood Eagles to divulge information, which will be quite interesting. And yeah, it'll be fun to add a little bit of new kind of story content. It's definitely something we've been looking forward to for a while. Hopefully this is the beginning of that. We know certain updates coming later in the year should be fairly story-centric as well, so lots of fun stuff to look forward to on that side of things. So the main quests we have focus on kind of the transition between Appalachia and Atlantic City, but they're focused on the Russo family. So this is a family who have departed Atlantic City for Appalachia and set up shop in Ingram Mansion, just up the hill from Morgantown. So that place has had a number of overhauls over the last few years, really, and it's getting yet another one. This time the Russos have moved in and they're converting the place into a home/nightclub. So this is where their sort of main storyline is going to be focused on. Upon arrival, we'll get to see the initial show that's going on at the nightclub. We'll get to meet 4 family members of the Russo family, each who have their own things going on, their own troubles, and their own sort of past that is catching up with them and spilling over into Appalachia from Atlantic City, which should be quite cool. Apparently, the busy eldest son, Vin, is in some way related to running the bar, so it seems like his problems might be the lightest touch of them. But we've also got the youngest daughter, who is addicted to a new chem, so we've got to help her out. We've got the matriarch of the family, who is a former performer from Atlantic City and seems determined to reclaim her former glory there. And we've got, finally, the story surrounding the apparently errant father of the family, who is up to something, but we don't know what. So looking forward to diving into that. Obviously, the developers didn't share too much in the way of profound details regarding these stories, because, you know, they don't want to give away spoilers, but really nice to have, hopefully, a decent chunk of story content added in as well, and I'm looking forward to exploring that. And maybe a nice break from just doing the season stuff and the events as well. It'd be nice to get into some proper story-based content. So, been crying out for that for quite a while, and quite happy to see that. Looking forward to exploring it. course, all of this leaves a big question about one thing that we know is somewhere in this update but they haven't talked about, and that is the new cryptid, the Jersey Devil. I would imagine that there's going to be some tie-in to one or more of these quests, but exactly where, when, how, and what's going on, don't know yet. Looking forward to finding out. I imagine they'll pop up in numerous places as well. So looking forward to seeing all of that. So if you want to pick up the Russo family main quests, there should be a poster in any of the train stations that will point you in the right direction, or I would imagine you could head straight to Ingram Mansion if you want to do that as well. For the side quests, you can head over to the White Spring Refuge, wherein there is a chap called Jeremiah who is advertising Atlantic City over by the rest of the responders and not too far from Giuseppe. And if you go up to where he's hanging out, there's now a notice board, or there will be when the update goes live anyway. There will be a notice board with a number of posters on those indicating the smaller side quests that you can pick up and the people you can go and speak to in order to help them out and begin those little quest lines as well. So that's where you need to go to find that stuff. So one of the cool things that I'm really looking forward to on top of all of this is that this update will bring something that was hinted at, kind of teased ahead of the first part of the update, and that is the ability to actually explore Atlantic City on foot. We've not seen a lot of this yet. So far, all you can do is head into the 2 expeditions, and you can take your time and explore those zones if you like, but you can't actually just wander outside of those missions. So now we will be able to do that. We'll actually be able to talk to characters and encounter the wider area, and hopefully see what else is going on in Atlantic City, which will be quite fun. I'm kind of curious to see how they're actually going to put this all together. My guess is that they won't go for one big open world area. I suspect they will do that for the Shenandoah update that's coming later on this year, but for Atlantic City, my guess would probably be that the 3 areas will be separate sort of zones that, if we're lucky, we might have sort of the equivalent of a doorway that you can go and activate. It's like, this passageway takes you to the boardwalk, this one takes you downtown, and you activate it like a door, go through, loading screen, and into the new area. That's my guess as to how it goes. I'll be fine with that, but hopefully we won't have to mess around too much fast travelling using the map or anything to do it. Just be able to transition through in a semi-natural way. But interested to see how this will pan out and sort of what it'll be like to explore and what we can find when we run around outside of the expeditions. So yeah, that should be pretty cool to investigate further. Speaking of expeditions, ahead of the last part of this update, pre-Christmas, we got hinted at a 3rd expedition, which will be arriving with this update at the end of March, and this one will be called The Human Condition. So the 2 expeditions that we already have in Atlantic City, we have the most sensational game that's focused on the showman, and we have tax evasion, which is focused on the family. This one, The Human Condition, will be focused on the munis. And as with the others, set in its own zone as well, as starting being downtown. So apparently, Mayor Tim needs our help with putting out fires, quite literally, eliminating the overgrown who are spilling out of the Pine Barrens. Apparently the downtown area is closest to the Pine Barrens, it's the part of town that is closest. Interested to see how that actually pans out and what we get to see in that area and how that might affect the zone. Could be quite cool. But yes, they're apparently spilling out of the Pine Barrens and we'll have to deal with a load of overgrown. And they have also taken over the community centre downtown as well, which supposedly was a hub area that they've been driven out of, so the munis would like us to clear that out and reclaim it for them, which obviously is going to be a very temporary thing because expeditions are repeatable content, but nonetheless, that's the final section of the challenge, is to head in there and clean that out. So yeah, new expedition should be fun. Obviously, with new expeditions, with new quests and so on, come a whole bunch of new rewards. We've got new armors, new outfits. I imagine there'll be a whole bunch of other stuff as well. They did mention camp stuff too, so looking forward to investigating that. Some of it's going to drop as quest rewards. That was mentioned in their video as well, incidentally. If you want to check that video out, link it in the description. And it sounds like a lot of it will come via stamps from the expeditions as well, because whilst we have all this other stuff, and it's nice to see the new quests and stuff, the kind of tent poles holding the rest of it up is also the expedition, so a lot of it will be geared towards that as well. So, there we go. Some fairly cool stuff that I'm looking forward to. Definitely been crying out for new story-based content, new quest content, outside of the just sort of repeatable expeditions and so on for quite some time, so definitely happy to see that beginning to come back in. Looking forward to seeing what else Bethesda have for us on that particular front going forward and later on in the year, because we know there's been a few little cool bits teased on that front, and there's at least 2 other updates that they haven't yet to mention as well, so I'd be interested to see what happens on down the road with those too. So yeah, looking forward to jumping into this new content and sort of breaking out of the just doing challenges and stuff sort of loop and getting a little bit of fresh content to examine, so should be fun. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that one, found it interesting and informative. If you did, please do consider dropping subs and likes, I very much appreciate. Down below, as always, we've got social media links, merch store, and channel memberships on the blue join button if you want to support the channel in that way. I hugely appreciate, massively helps out. And if you get a chance to join us for live streams as well, we are, of course, playing Fallout, looking forward to jumping into this new content. And we are playing a few other bits and pieces as well, specifically Enshrouded and Nightingale at the minute, both survival games with a base building component, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. So if you're interested in building outside of Fallout, might be worth taking a look at. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.